everyone, my name is Zoe, and in today's video we are going to be looking at how to dance to a Wahda rhythm. So the Wahda rhythm is really common in, for example, tarab songs, so these very classic songs, especially during the parts where the singer is singing, where the words are, you have this Wahda rhythm in the background because it's very simple and it goes really well underneath the words. You might also see it in Méjance and many other types of music, so it's definitely an important rhythm to know how to dance to. So let's get right in, and first we're going to start by analyzing this rhythm, seeing how it works, and then looking at what moves we can do, how we can easily dance to this. So Wahda means one in Arabic. And as you'll see in this rhythm, it's because in Wahda, the one is the most important. And then kind of the rest is, you don't have too much going on. There are actually two types of Wahda rhythm. There's the Wahda Saghira, or the small Wahda, and the Wahda Kbira, or the big Wahda. So we will look at both of them. They're not too different. The main thing is the small Wahda is in 4, it has 4 beats to a measure, whereas the big Wahda Kbira has 8 beats to a measure, so it's twice as long. So let's start with just the small Wahda, and it's going to sound like doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek. So you can try to count that out in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, doom, to tek, tek, doom, to tek, tek. And you will see if you maybe you might want to write it out, but you'll see that we have the doom on the 1, like I said, Wahda, 1, that doom is very important. And then we have 2 teks. The first tek is going to come in between the 2 and the 3. So it's doom, 2, tek, 3, tek. And then the second tek is on the 4. So again, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek. And if you have studied your other rhythms, you might recognize that the Wahda is actually the exact same as another rhythm, which is the Malfouf rhythm. It's just slowed down. So the Malfouf rhythm is a rhythm in 2. So it's doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom. It's got that very fast feel to it. We usually use it to travel around. We can do like chassés, turns, all of that. We use it a lot for entrances. And the Wahda is exactly the same pattern. It's just twice as long. So doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek. So you can see why it goes really well underneath singing or things like that, because it's quite simple. And we have that big 1 to focus on. The Wahda Kbira is similar. We have the exact same beginning, doom, tek, tek, and then we have another doom on the 5, so the start of the second half. And then it can change. So the most common version you'll hear would be a doom on the 5 and then a tek on the 7. So the whole thing would sound like doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek. So that's a really common one. So there you have like the 2 dooms to keep track of, 1 on the 1 and 1 on the 5. And then slightly different patterns of teks in the 2 halves of that 8. Another variation would be the Chifteteli rhythm. It's a bit, you can count it as Wahda Kbira or not, but it would be the doom, tek, tek, doom, doom, tek. If you know the song Aziza, there's a very famous part of that. Doom, tek, tek, doom, doom, tek, right? So you probably know that. That's similar to the Wahda Kbira. But for this purposes of this video, we'll just stick with the version that has the doom, tek in the second half. But so there you have the Wahda Saghira, which is just the doom, tek, tek, and then the Wahda Kbira, which is the doom, tek, tek plus doom, tek. So now that we've got that all straightened out, let's look at how we're going to dance to this. So like I said, and like the name tells you, the 1, the Wahda, that doom is the most important. So we are going to want to emphasize the doom. And you can think of kind of the doom being like the impulse, and then the tek, we'll start with the Wahda Saghira, so just the tek being almost a reaction to that. Of course, it doesn't have to be, but I like to think of it that way, and it can help coming up with combinations to do. So let's start with the impulse. What kinds of things can we do for that doom? Well, a doom, it's a heavy sound, so one of the obvious choices would be any kind of hitting movement with our body. So like a hip bump, right? Doom. A nice strong hip bump, that's a good one. Doom. Or any other hip movement, doom. Usually it's probably going to be a more downwards feeling, a more earthy feeling. It's not a tek, right? So I would tend to do like a hip drop more than a hip lift, but again, it depends on the music. There's just little things to think about. Or similarly, like a chest drop, right? Doom. That's a good one. Or a stomach hit. Doom. So any kind of hit, pelvic lock, doom. Or even release, doom, depending. All of those are good things to do on the doom. Another category of movement that works with the doom, I would call direction changes. So this is also really good in those tarab songs. When someone's singing, you don't want to be like moving all over the stage usually, because the emphasis is on the words. I mean, they have these really beautiful poetic words. So you don't want to be exactly distracting from that with your dancing. You want to be adding to that with your dancing. So one thing I really like to do in those situations would just be like a very simple little turn like that. Especially because we do a lot of things on the diagonal in belly dance. So it's great. You do something on the diagonal. You do doom, tek, whatever. We'll get into the teks in a second. And then you can do doom and go to the other diagonal. So that's little direction changes, quarter turns, half turns. And to do those little turns, I'm just lifting my heels ever so slightly off the floor to allow myself to pivot around the balls of my feet. Yeah. So that's a very, very useful technique for belly dance. Another, you can count it as a direction change, but like you could do a full turn, or one thing I like to do a lot would be an arabesque. So, right, that kind of, if you have the time on the doom. And coming around, or crossing might also work. Doom, depending on how much time you have. But those are all kind of types of direction change. And then a third category that often works really well, I would call kind of swaying, leaning. You can even include some of those like more liquid movements, like a vertical 8, like a nice slow one, doom, right? So you get the impulse, doom, coming around, or a camel, doom. But I also would do sometimes a lean, doom. That one works really well, doom. Or even just an arm movement, doom. I had a little bit of a weight change there, but you can also just do doom. Anything like that. So there's 3 different categories for you. Maybe you could think of more, but the idea is the doom is the impulse. It's driving you in a slightly new direction. Every doom you can think of as being like a new idea. And then moving on to the teks. The teks, I like to connect them to the doom somehow. Sometimes it can be by using a similar body part or just showing there's a reaction. So just some examples, like if I did a hip bump on my doom, then one easy way to kind of continue that impulse on the teks would be to do some vertical 8s. So again, doom, tek. For example, Or let's say I do a small weight shift. Doom. One thing that kind of naturally comes to me after doom here, you might just do a little shimmy. It also depends on the music, right? Tek. You can bring your arms down. There's, especially in Tarab, we'll be doing a lot of things with your arms to show the music, to show the meaning. That's a whole nother video. But, so that's one thing. Doom, tek. Or even add camels if you want to spice things up. Or let's say we did a lean, doom. Then a natural way to continue from here would be snake arms, for example. Doom, tek. So yeah, there's all sorts of pretty much you can put any movement on that tek really. But I usually would do something a bit softer. It's probably not going to be something sharp, so I'm not going to do like doom, tek. Unless for some reason in the music, like that's really strong, there's a really strong rhythm there, I would be much more likely to do doom, tek. So instead of doing hip drops, I'm doing some hip circles, something softer. Yeah, so yeah, you can do almost anything, but try to think of having it be somehow connected to your doom, something that flows naturally from where the doom is bringing you. And probably somewhat softer, and usually it's just easy to either make the tek just one movement or two of the same movement. So like we had the 2 8s or 2 camels or just a shimmy coming down, right? So it's, yeah, because those teks are symmetrical, a lot of times I would do something symmetrical in my body. Okay, so before we move on to the Wahda Kbira, which is going to be building off of this, let's just put on some Wahda Saghira, some small Wahda, and just try different variations. So you can follow along with me, or you can think of your own. We're just going to have fun and play with that. Okay, so that was the small Wahda, the Wahda Saghira. Now let's move on and build on that to see how we can dance to the big Wahda or the Wahda Kbira. So for the first half, those first 4 beats, we do, basically it's the same, Wahda Saghira. So we can have whatever combination, I don't know, chest drop, chest, and then maybe 2 chest circles, for example. Now, on this second half, one thing I like to do in longer rhythms, so like this one, which is a rhythm is 8, is here, this version, it's less likely to be kind of back up to singing, although it could also be. But if it's not back up to singing especially, I would like to travel a bit. This is a good place to do moving around. So we can do just some very, very simple steps. For example, step, cross, step, right? So we have 4 beats, so we would do 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and then we're ready to go back into the beginning of the Wahda. So let's just try that with that chest drop. So it would be doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek. I like to add the little arms on that cross. You can do all sorts of different arms there, but yeah, that just makes it look a little nicer. You could also do a 3-step turn. So again, let's just do that chest combination at the beginning. Doom, tek, tek, 1, 2, 3. Doom, tek, tek, 1, 2, 3. So that's another little foot pattern you could do. Or you could just do something like walking forwards or walking back. And it's usually going to be 3 steps because we have that doom, tek, and then you're probably going to wait on that last tek, and that's also where you'll be preparing the next doom. So you probably don't want to have 4 steps in there, but you might. But yeah, just for this video, we'll do 3 steps usually, or you could do doom, doom, tek, for example. Anything, yeah, with 3 steps in there we can do. You don't have to travel, you could stay in place. And if you're going to stay in place especially, it might be a good idea to this time emphasize not just the doom, but also the tek. So the tek, if you want to emphasize it, probably you would want to do a sharper movement, like with the doom, but with the doom it's a heavier sound. So with the tek, like hip lifts, tek, or chest lifts, tek, right? Or even a hip twist, tek. Those are all things you could do, or even something with the foot, for example. Yeah, or a hip bump, tek, but a little more of a lighter one with more emphasis going up. All of those are things you could do. So, for example, let's stick with that chest. We had doom, tek, tek, and then we could do doom, tek, for example, and then we do a chest lift. Or doom, tek, and a little hip lift on the side. So again, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek. So those are just some ways you can dance to Wahda Kbira. Let's do a very nice little combination. It's just going to be one combination for Wahda Kbira. It's actually going to be 2 measures of Wahda Kbira. So we're going to have both variations with them traveling and staying in place. So let's look at that and then we'll practice it. So we are going to start with a hip bump to the side, doom. I'm not going to put any weight on that foot. I'm actually just going to be using my knee lifting to get that doom, to get that hip lift, but I still want that heavy feeling, doom. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of stop it, doom. And then on that tek, tek, we are going to do 2 vertical 8s, tek, tek. Okay, so that's the first half. Doom, tek, tek. And now let's do our traveling move. We're going to start by crossing our foot in front. Doom, step, and then cross back. Yeah? So again, from the beginning of that. Doom, tek, tek, cross, step, cross. And then we're over here. Now, we're going to do another combination to finish it off. We're going to, this time with this free leg, I'm just going to do a hip twist. Do. Yeah? Do. And then on the tek, tek, we're going to do 2 camels, stepping with them. Tek, tek. So again, from here. Doom, tek, tek. And now on the last set of 4, I'm just going to do 2 rolls up. You can add a shimmy if you want, and end with a chest lift. Tek. So that whole sequence, the second half is doom, camel, camel, roll, roll, chest. Doom, tek, tek, doom, tek. And then we get ready to go on the other side. So from the beginning, doom, tek, tek, doom, doom, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, doom, tek. Again, doom, tek, tek, doom, doom, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, doom, tek. Okay, so that's the combination. You can go back and review it if you want, but we are going to put on some Wahda Kbira music and just go through that. So let's go. So that was a bit of the Wahda rhythm, both versions, the small one and the big one, how you can dance to them. Again, this is a very common rhythm, so it's definitely good to know. I hope that this video gave you some good ideas. If you found it helpful, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share with anyone you think might also find it interesting. Thank you so much for watching and happy practicing.